My name is Bhavin. I am a registered dietitian in Ontario, Canada. And my topic of focus today is about men's health and the issues associated with that. As a disclaimer, I will be addressing some sensitive issues and topics throughout my presentation. So just, viewer discussion is advised, and do whatever you need to do in terms of accessing, self-care or to feel safe. I am Bhavin Mistry. And I'm a registered dietitian. Coming out of high school, I had the idea that I wanted to work with kids or be a teacher, some capacity working with children. And then, in first year, I took a introductory nutrition course and I absolutely loved it. It kind of just sparked this interest in me. And I decided to take another nutrition course in my second semester, and again, loved it, excelled in it. So I was I don't know, this is kind of interesting. I kind of want to pursue this further. And, I came across certain careers and registered dietitian came up. And then I was you know what, I'm going to make the bold move to kind of move into that career path. So I ended up, doing all the coursework for that. And I always knew I wanted to do something in science, but never really knew what exactly that was. So yeah, it was just a long journey to kind of get there. I finished one degree in child, youth, and family. And then I did another degree, which was my nutrition undergrad at Ryerson University. I ended up only doing 2 years there, which was awesome. I kind of got to squish everything and complete that in 2 years. And then I finished my master's in nutrition at the University of Guelph, where I completed my dietetic practical training as well. So about 8 years in total of school and post-secondary education. So it's been long, but I'm very happy to be where I am today. So as I said before, I am situated in Ontario, Canada, and which is known as Turtle Island for Indigenous folks. And I am on the land belonging to the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Neutral people. So I just wanted to give a land acknowledgement. As for my work experiences right now in dietetics, it's been nice to kind of kickstart my career in a variety of areas that I never thought I'd be working in. So first off, I received a position at Seasons Care Dietitian Network as a consulting dietitian for a long-term care home. So I've been working with the elderly folks for about almost 2.5 months now. So that's been a great learning experience because I didn't have any LTC experience prior to getting the job. And then right now I'm starting a new position at CBI Health, which is a organization that provides home care services. So I am focusing on the pediatric population, which is an extreme passion of mine, as you probably have noticed from my first degree. So that's exactly where I want to be, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So it's been going well so far. And then I also have another position. So I'm working at a medical clinic close to home, just working with a team of doctors and just providing nutrition counseling and education there. So busy, but all very good and very happy. So why men's health? And why am I so passionate about this area? It's a heavily overlooked area of health. I find that when I was growing up, there was just minimal awareness of addressing these health issues. And I often felt reluctant to reach out for help or even just understand what I was feeling or going through as a young person, and then growing up as an adolescent to an adult. I'm definitely a firm believer in health equity and equality for all. So I just feel like men's health isn't really addressed as much in society, and it's not talked about as much in comparison to other forms of health. Men often just feel, overlooked. And I feel like support and advocacy is definitely needed in this space of health and nutrition for men. And just to provide a global voice for men to reach out for that support and to understand that they're not alone in these very, very normal issues that everyone goes through throughout their daily lives. What is masculinity? This is something that I definitely have, struggled with understanding as I've grown up. But it's the textbook definition is a set of attributes, behaviors, and roles associated with individuals who identify as men or boys. And it's almost like microaggressions that men kind of face with all these different phases that are said to men, and be a man, grow a pair, be more manly. Men are supposed to be tough. Don't be a sissy. Like all these different phrases that can really put men down and put this like persona that they're supposed to be, these like macho, heavily masculine men. And to show emotion and to show feelings is, like, don't do that. That's something that, men don't or shouldn't really express. So, um, and these are just some common stereotypes that men are facing throughout their days. Big, tough, strong, and muscular, and they're supposed to be breadwinners and providers of the family. So they're out there working their jobs, Monday to Friday or whatever, and providing everything they can for their families, whether it be like their children and their wives or partners, and that's just the way it's supposed to be. And it's been like that, traditionally for many years. And then men should be self-sufficient. So figuring things out on their own and not really asking for support or for help. Men should know how to do everything on their own without, asking for any support. Men should not act or be perceived as gay or homosexual, so having feminine qualities or different sort of ways about them is seen as taboo and wrong, or and then men are supposed to be hypersexual beings, so having multiple partners or like multiple sexual partners and things like that is seen as okay, versus for women that's seen as wrong. So there's that double standard there. And then gender roles, so cooking, cleaning, child rearing is taken care of more often than not the female counterpart. So how are we shifting our knowledge and our awareness and our biases of what a man should be and who they should be and how they should act in society? So how often are we upholding these expectations and these certain societal norms that men should conform to and be aware of? Health stigma is something that men often experience. It's basically how a man can feel pretty reluctant to reach out for support regarding their physical mental health. So, like I mentioned before, just a simple thing as discussing or talking about health issues can cause men to feel isolated, ashamed, or not masculine. There's that word again, masculinity. Men's health is not addressed nearly as much as it should be in society. And why is that? Why are we focusing more on other forms of health versus the health of men? And men feel the need to uphold a certain level of masculinity and conform to societal masculine norms. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, like, we're supposed to be tough and strong and masculine and macho and all these different things. And then maybe perceived as weak if men display any sort of emotion or any expression of feeling. So when you reach out to others, whether it be a friend or a colleague or a family member, how do they react when you're displaying emotion? And if you're seen as crying, is that something that's weak? Is that something that's wrong? Or you're just seen as just not strong enough to be a man if you're showing that sort of level of emotion. In terms of chronic health conditions for men, about 70% is caused by lifestyle factors and 30% are caused by genetics. So, when we think about different health conditions that are strictly, or not strictly, but mostly, DNA based and genetic based versus, lifestyle factors that men go throughout their daily lives. So whether it be, having a more sedentary lifestyle or, and that affecting their physical health, or, anxiety, depression, mental health issues, and not really being able to reach out for support regarding that, and seek therapy or seek support or seek guidance in terms of what that looks like for them. And just as another disclaimer, so a lot of the stats that I'm presenting today are Canadian based. 1/3 of eating disorders occur in males, and 28 to 30% of men have some body image concerns or experience negative body image. So this was another surprising stat to me, that a lot of the times when we think of eating disorders or disordered eating, we often think about women or females. And there's a whole other side of it where, men can experience the same level of disordered eating and negative body image or health issues. And a lot of it has to do with, body dysmorphia, that, I need to look muscular and strong and fit in order to fit that stereotypical image of what a man is. So it was definitely a very surprising stat to come across. And Canadian men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than women. So this was another very shocking and sad statistic that I came across. And in a way, it kind of makes sense, because if men are less likely to reach out for support and to seek that guidance or that help, then what other options do they have in terms of their own mindset of reaching out? And it's very, very unsettling to understand this and to digest this information, that men really feel like they're alone and isolated and don't have that support. So definitely something to kind of take a step back and really look at. And then here's another statistic. So 40% are more likely to die from cancer than women. Again, with the reaching out for medical help, are men less likely to reach out for medical help? Probably. And this statistic kind of makes sense in the sense that if they're kind of ignoring health issues physically and not wanting to reach out and not wanting to seek that support, then obviously health issues will progress and worsen. 1 in 9 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. So prostate cancer is definitely one of the most common forms of cancer for men. And this is sad as well, that because prostate cancer is so common in men, is it something that men are just not aware of in terms of their bodies and how bodily function should work, when to see a doctor, when to to seek that support? Is it just something that is experienced with aging and that is just kind of shrugged off? So it can be unfortunate, because prostate cancer is definitely curable and treatable. And when it's caught early, it definitely can lead to more positive health outcomes than not. In terms of how to support men, I think this is a really big area to discuss about. And it's as simple as having a conversation. So with the men in your life, if you're not typically seen to just strike up a conversation and say, hey, how's your day going? Just something as simple as that, or how are you feeling? It doesn't need to be, an in-depth therapy session. It can be something so simple. And again, simply just lending a listening ear, and just being there to act as a support or a mentor or a person, or just a person, just someone to listen. And then also providing, resources or providing that support in terms of, who to reach out to, or different contacts, different organizations for help. If you find that, there are certain individuals out there who just don't know where to start or don't know where to go, maybe providing that helping hand can kind of go a long way. And if you find that you don't know yourself, maybe pointing them in the direction that they can go to, if you know someone that can kind of provide them with that help and guidance. And then in terms of having a conversation, just remembering that, when you're having those, serious talks and conversations, that you're kind of putting your own biases and opinions and inputs to a minimum, and just kind of helping them through the process of working through what they're dealing with, because it isn't about you, it's about them and how they're going to kind of maneuver through this issue. I'm definitely thankful that I was able to bring awareness to this issue, because I'm just so passionate about it. And I hope that, as we progress into the future, that, our mind and our mindsets and our practices, shift towards, health equity for all, and, incorporating men's health into our daily lives and even into, social media. I think it's really, really important. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dina.
I am so grateful for you and for bringing all of this to light, because I think also in the recent years of just us trying to be a little bit more conscientious about gender discussions, we often forget that there are, statistically speaking, a lot of issues that are still at hand. And so it's okay to have an open conversation and say, I recognize there might be some stigma about men's health and you don't feel necessarily comfortable opening up. Or when was the last time you went for a screening? Did you schedule your doctor's appointment? So just to say, I'm here for you. Let's go through some stuff together to make sure that you are both mentally and physically healthy, or as healthy as you can be, because that's important to not have to take all of that on your shoulders just because you are a man. So I really appreciate this open conversation, Bhavin, and I'm so glad that you were the exact person to do it.